my name is Rachel, and today I'm going to be talking about whether rabbits are good for children. So there's a lot of different things that you should consider before getting a rabbit, just for the safety of the rabbit and for the safety of your family as well. So in this video, we're going to discuss some important factors that can help you make your decision on whether or not a rabbit will be good for your family. So the first thing that I'd like to mention is rabbits are too much work to be a responsibility animal. So if you're getting a rabbit to try to teach responsibility for your child so then they have to go and take care of it, rabbits are not the animal that you'd want to get. Rabbits take up a lot of time and a lot of energy. You need to be able to feed them and give them water and stuff, but then you also need to get them out and make sure they're not sick and take them to the vet and get them spayed or neutered, which can be expensive. A lot of those things. The way I would describe it, a rabbit would be as much responsibility as a dog, and if you couldn't handle a dog, then you probably shouldn't get a rabbit either. In fact, there's a lot of people who spend more time taking care of a rabbit than they do taking care of their dog. The next thing that you should consider is that rabbits should not be a child's sole responsibility. That's not to say that children can't help out take care of them and give it food and water and those kinds of things. It should be your responsibility. A lot of rabbit shelters don't even adopt out for a rabbit to be a child's responsibility. The adult is supposed to be the one who's taking care of that, and that's just for reasons of safety and just the maturity of someone who's going to be taking care of it. Kind of also going off of that, the rabbit that you may get is not going to have the same novelty forever, so if your child is very amazed by the rabbit and all of those kinds of things, it's not going to be amazed by the rabbit a couple months down the line. So that's really important to note. The novelty is going to wear off and the child might not want to take care of it anymore. That's why it's the responsibility of the adult to be the primary owner of the rabbit. Rabbits are good for families who are not looking for a cuddly animal. Now, this is not to say that all rabbits are not cuddly whatsoever. A lot of rabbits like to be pet and stuff, but I would definitely say the majority of rabbits don't like to be picked up, and the media definitely portrays rabbits as kind of a cuddly animal, but that's just not the case, and I really think that more people need to know before they adopt a rabbit and think it's going to be something it's not. Another thing to note is that rabbits are not your standard small animal, so even though they go under the small animal category, I would even argue that they're more like taking care of a dog or cat, as I mentioned earlier, than taking care of a classic small animal. So they do need to be let out. They're not just happy in their cage all day. They need a lot of space. The minimum amount of space that they need is a 2-foot by 4-foot cage. When you hear small animal, it doesn't mean that it's easy to take care of. Another thing to consider is that rabbits should be in a low stress environment. So if you have children that are constantly running around your house and making loud noises, or a baby that's really loud, rabbits are probably not the pet for you. They can become really stressed out and they do like to have their certain routines. If you can't stick to a routine or there's just a lot going on in the house, it's probably not the best idea. Rabbits should be in a calm environment so they can keep their stress levels as low as possible. And if a rabbit becomes extra stressed out, then you have a lot more risk for health problems and stuff like that. So that is why it's just best to have a rabbit in a calm environment. Another thing to consider is that rabbits can be litter box trained. A lot of people don't know this about rabbits and they think that rabbits are just going to poop everywhere and those kinds of things, and that's not true. You really can litter box train a rabbit. Now, of course, they're not perfect, just like a dog isn't perfect either, but rabbits can be litter box trained. So a lot of people free roam their rabbit because rabbits can be litter box trained, so it allows for that, and that's a really important thing to consider, because if you think that the rabbit's just going to have to stay in its cage all day, it's not, and it shouldn't be. Another thing to consider is that rabbits should not be home alone for a long time. Rabbits can go into this thing called GI stasis, which basically can be caused by stress, a fur blockage. There's a multitude of reasons that can cause it, but if a rabbit does stop eating for, I think 12 hours, they'll stop pooping, and the bacteria in their stomach will grow, and it's really unhealthy for them, and it in fact can be a deadly disease. So you don't want to be leaving your rabbit home alone for a really long time. You want to make sure that there's someone who's home who can take care of your rabbit. Now, it's not to say that someone has to be home at all times. You definitely don't want to leave your rabbit home alone for a long period of time. So kind of like I mentioned earlier, a lot of time has to be devoted to keep your rabbits safe. Rabbits need to be watched and make sure that they are eating and pooping and all of those things to make sure that they're healthy. A lot of times rabbits might not show that they're hurt, so it's really important that there's someone who can tell and pick up on little signs that could potentially say that your rabbit is hurt or sick. I also mentioned this earlier, but rabbits do need a routine, and if you can't provide that for them, a lot of times a rabbit probably isn't the best idea for your family. I know personally for Milo, he knows when he's going to be fed, he knows those kinds of things, and he really likes having a routine. A lot of rabbits can be really stressed out, kind of like we mentioned earlier with a low stress environment. Not having a routine can cause more stress than is necessary, and with that can come health problems. Another thing to consider is what type of rabbit you're getting. So it's a common known sort of fact that smaller rabbits tend to be more skittish. Now that's not saying that you could get a small rabbit and they're super nice, but a lot of times smaller rabbits can be more skittish and giant rabbits are more like gentle giants. Now, of course, the personality depends on the rabbit and the specific breed and all of those kinds of things. There can be a lot of differences within the breed, but that is a general guideline that a lot of people pay attention to. So I would say if you have younger children or children really at all, it's probably a good idea to get a larger rabbit for both the safety of your family and of the rabbit. With a larger rabbit, a child probably isn't going to pick it up as much, which they probably shouldn't be picked up anyways by a child. It's easier for the rabbit to get hurt if it is smaller, so having a larger rabbit can help prevent that. Another thing to consider is that rabbits should be surrounded by gentle people. So if you have a lot of people in your family or children in your family who are rough and maybe run around a lot and are kind of rambunctious, then it's probably not a good idea to get a rabbit. Rabbits need people who are gentle and calm and can approach them with gentleness, and without doing that, you can just scare your rabbit and then basically traumatize it, and that's just really not a good idea. So if you're looking for exact ages and exact guidelines about whether a rabbit might be right for your family, I'm going to link an article down below by the House Rabbit Society that will give you some more information. In fact, a lot of stuff that I'm talking about in this video came from that article. It's a really, really great resource if you want to find out more. One more thing that I want to share is some rules that the House Rabbit Society had in an article on different safety rules that you can use when talking to your children about how to care for a rabbit. So the first one is gentle petting. The second one is leave the rabbit alone if they hop away or go in their cage. The third one is don't touch the droppings or the litter. And the fourth one is we pet but we do not pick up the rabbit. One more thing that you should consider is that if those kinds of rules aren't followed, or maybe a rabbit just isn't having a good day, or whatever, there's a lot of different things that can happen. Rabbits can scratch you, and a lot of times they don't mean it in a mean way, but maybe they're trying to get away, they don't like what you're doing, and they can scratch you, and it can be pretty painful. So that's pretty important to note, especially if you have a child who's always going to try to pick up the rabbit. They could get hurt, the rabbit could get hurt, and that probably wouldn't be a good idea. So that is all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and this gave you a little bit more insight on what it's like to have a rabbit and if a rabbit would be right for your family. So in short answer, are rabbits good pets for children? No, they're not good pets for children, but they can be great pets with children around if rules are followed and the rabbit is handled with care and the people who are responsible for the rabbit are educated on how to properly care for it. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel by pressing that red button down below. We make videos about rabbit care, and we also show Milo's vlogs of doing different things like rabbit goes shopping, rabbit goes thrift shopping, bunny playtime, that kind of stuff if you'd be interested. Also, if you'd like to, our Instagram and our Twitter are linked down below. If you'd like to see more videos / pictures of Milo doing his thing, we post every single day on there, so make sure to check those out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.